And then we have action, and I've put action with maintenance. Action is that up to 6 month point, and maintenance is from 6 months forward until the change is integrated and easy and no longer has to be thought about, which I think in the very, very busy world that we live, that doesn't happen to a lot of people. For most of us, staying in our positive, therapeutic, healthy behaviors, the behaviors that make our body healthy and our mind focused on well-being, we're going to always be having to put effort into it. And I am sorry it's so cold in here, but we are motoring down to the last few minutes of this. Then you'll walk out into the cold and you can thaw out all the way to your car. I don't know why it's this cold in here. But a lot of times people, once they do start something, and even us as helpers, we may let go of them just a little bit as they get going on the path. But really that we still, in the helping relationship, make a difference as we provide praise, encouragement, ongoing support, and help redirect a person who hits a point of relapse. So here, buddies, mentors, friends, those people that I think of as the influencers continue to have a big role. I think that one of the things people forget to do is to reward the positive behaviors that they have. I mean, it's sort of like we have a self-expectation that we'll be on the right track, and so we're on the right track. We're just, not punishing ourselves. But it has to be more than the stop of the punishment or negative self-talk that keeps us going in action. Rewards that help promote the changes are awesome rewards. So for example, with exercise, once somebody has done their walking program for a week, maybe they can treat themselves to more comfortable socks, or after a couple weeks shoes, or maybe an app on the phone that would be motivating. The sooner the better on any of those rewards. But for a lot of people, a food reward, some might say wouldn't be a good reward because it would be working in the opposite direction. But actually, if you're dieting and only one day a week you have a food reward, you're in way better shape than you were before you started that healthy lifestyle. So if you reward yourself for eating 5 veggies every day, by on Sunday going to the all ice cream diet, you're probably still better off. But really, we like to say not just a cheat day, but one cheat meal, really. But if you could keep it to that, that would be great. So the reward has to be chosen by the individual making the change. And as helpers, we just guide them in that process. We don't choose for them what their rewards are going to be. But classes continue to be very helpful at this stage of change. And nobody really gets aggravated or tired of working with people that are in action. I think they're tons of fun to work with. But a lot of times when we're working with people in the action stage of change, we will have the opportunity and the blessing to get to help them through a relapse. And what actions we take at the stage of relapse can really make a huge difference on whether the person gets back on track. So going back to what Dr. Grimes said, this is a time when our attitude towards working with the person can really make a difference in how helpful our helping relationship is. And knowing that relapse is normal in change and that it's predictable and that it's expected can help take the pressure off of us, because we don't have to feel like we're a failure, and we have no urge to convey to the other person that they're a failure when we acknowledge that it takes many, many tries for most people to have a lasting positive health change. And whether that is starting something or quitting something, it's probably going to take more than one try. And the most powerful intervention at the relapse stage is to set a date to get back on track. So the sooner that the new date, so if we just think about my sister with the quit smoking, the problem with relapse is it can be very, very discouraging, because it takes a tremendous amount of personal discipline and effort to make change, and it's very disheartening when that change falls through, although it's normal. Life happens to people. We have to all have time management challenges, The more ways that you can list why it's predictable that relapse will happen and solidify those in your mind, probably the more helpful you can be to a person in relapse. So the most powerful intervention is another attempt, but we may need to give the person a little bit of space, and we also have to do an assessment of the stage of change that they have relapsed to. So we're going to work with them differently if they relapse back to denial, and that does happen, and that just the discouragement of failure can put people back into pre-contemplation. And if they relapse back to contemplation, we may think that our job is easier, but may have more damage to the self-confidence. So setting a date, helping them set a date. When people ask me to work with them on any health change, just in my personal life, my guy who does my hair quit smoking in the last couple of years, and a lot of the work that we did was just built around the right date. And so working with people to predict a time in their life when the forces will align is no small effort in the helping relationship. So we finish with my blessing on you that may the force be with you, and it's the positive force of change. And 2 hours to spend with somebody on this audacious topic is a very small amount, and we just skimmed the surface of trauma-informed care, and we looked at what it would be like to be in a system, just barely dipped our baby toe into a system where we acknowledge the prevalence of trauma in people's lives, and talked a little bit about the adverse childhood experiences, and that's acestudy.org. That's the one thing that's not in your packet, and sorry for that. So we talked a little bit about trauma-informed care, really as a way to provide ourselves with the skills to work with other people where they are, and to assess them as to their readiness to make a change and work with them at the stages of change that they are. And we talked a little bit about what are some of the things that we can do to help people feel better. And all of those little health behaviors, the walking and water and sleeping and the vegetables, those are all changes that make people physically more healthy, but that also have an impact on mental health. And that link is very well made by the Kansas University website, Therapeutic Lifestyle Change. And if you just Google Therapeutic Lifestyle Change in Kansas, if you lose your handout, it comes right up, and it's accessible to everyone. So my final recommendations to you is that we think about change in a gentle, philosophical way with ourselves and with other people, and we work on one thing at a time. A lot of times we are presented with people, they've got a lot of different areas of their health that have kind of fallen out at the same time, and it's sort of tempting to think, let's just clean everything up at one time, but it's very, very overwhelming to do it that way. And so I like to think about making one change and not getting it to perfection, getting it to an 80% of the time status. So if I have somebody 80% toward the goal that they've set for themselves, then I'm very happy, and I feel like we are there if we're at 80%. That helps me in my expectations with them, and I think it has helped me in my expectations of myself to stay on course, always moving forward, to not require as much of myself. Just a little tip that I already kind of mentioned, start behaviors really, really, really do need rewards, and those are personal and have to be defined by the person, but it's kind of fun to work with a person to think what those might be and to work with yourself. And sometimes it's just bragging rights. You know, you run a marathon, you get to brag for a long, long, long time about it, and you keep running and you run some more marathons, and you know those add up. You know, people, you brag too much, I guess people start to not hang around with you, but other people will, so it'll be fine. Stop behaviors need substitutes, And you can learn a lot about what works by asking a quitter, somebody who has quit. And the good thing is, somebody who succeeded in making positive lifestyle change, the force is with them. They will share it with you. They will tell you what has helped. And I believe that the work that you do as helpers is some of the most precious work on our planet and is making a difference every day. So my final word to you is to take this effort toward yourself and help yourself in positive ways, because you're so worthy of it. Thank you for your 2 hours today.